Hi, and welcome to the 6th Thomas Murray webcast in our series covering financial market insight and analysis. Thomas Murray provides data and risk assessments on financial markets, infrastructures, and banks around the world. My name is Gary King, and I'm a senior analyst in the Global Network Management team.
And my name is Gutierrez, and I'm also a senior analyst in our Global Network Management team. And we'll be holding a panel discussion on the CPMI-IOSCO principles for financial market infrastructures, or PFMIs. The PFMIs were published in 2012 in order to establish international standards across a set of 24 core principles for systemically important financial market infrastructures.
Joining us to discuss the PFMIs in more detail, along with the work that Thomas Murray has done in helping them complete their PFMI assessments, are Haitham Al-Salmi, General Manager of Muscat Clearing and Depository in Oman, and Mindaugas Bakas, Chief Executive Officer of the National Depository of Ukraine. So thank you both very much for joining us.
Thank you. Hello.
And so firstly, we'd just like to get your opinion on why you think the PFMIs are a useful exercise for central securities depositories like yourselves.
Do I start first? Yes. Well, there is an obvious trend in the world where depositories need to be more and more riskless as organizations, as businesses, as they are usually a crucial infrastructure in that given country. So PFMI provides exactly the standards that are focused on identifying the level of risk that CSD as an infrastructure would have in the given country, given the actual setup, and this would give the subsequent indication on the gaps that the CSD and its shareholders need to close in order to increase the level of riskless operations and governance of the company.
Thank you. Yeah, and Haitham, could we have some of your views on the same point there?
Yeah. As a market infrastructure institution, we are a very small country and a small market, and one of the aims of the CSD is to provide the best infrastructure that matches all market players and even the international participants or international investors, and that makes us to make a push that we need to comply with the international best practices, which will give a message to all stakeholders that we are a safe market, we are resilient enough, and to be in the best and to follow the best practices ever. And that is why we thought this PFMI practice and exercise is very important, and we need to set a way forward that how we can ensure the continuous compliance with the standards. So it was very important for us to identify those gaps and plan for a full upgrade that will keep us matching or complying with the standards. Okay,
there are two ways of conducting these PFMI exercises. One is the self-assessment, and the second one is to appoint a third party. Why did you choose to use a third party to assist rather than conducting a self-assessment? Haitham?
Okay. As you said, there are two ways to do it, but we have two main reasons why we have chosen a professional firm to do that on our behalf. The first was because it was the first ever we do the gap analysis and to identify those gaps. So it was best for us to choose an outsourced professional to guide us on how we can do this test. So we can take over later on and do our test annually, because it will be difficult to get professionals to do it every year. So the first time it has to be through a professional company, which will help us to set the way forward how we can do the assessment. It was a training course for us as well, to see and understand those principles in details. So this is one, and the second thing is to get the best recommendation how those gaps can be closed as well. So we have made those two objectives in our mind, and this is where we decided that we need a professional company to help us doing this.
In Daugas, what do you think?
Yes, and I absolutely concur with the colleagues' position that these are also the reasons why we have selected. But on top of that, it is understandable that the assessment results and subsequently the gaps that need to be closed are very important information for our regulators. So in order to minimize the subjectivity in such a sensitive matter, when self-assessing such a important part of infrastructure, we chose to select third party in order to guarantee the objectiveness of the situation, so that our regulators would have more trust in the information that we have received.
Excellent. Yeah, thank you. So obviously, as you've touched upon with your answers earlier, the point of the PFMIs is to provide a framework to critically analyze your own processes and practices and use the findings as a basis for your future planning and development. So following the completion of your PFMI assessments, what would you say have you found to have been the main benefits of conducting the exercise? And if you could maybe give us a bit of an overview of some of the actions you've taken off of the back of completing the exercise. Mindaugas, if you want to.
Yes. Obviously, the speed and structure was important for this exercise, and using the help of Thomas Murray, we were able to get it in a structured way, which also allowed us to plan our further steps accordingly, with the support from our shareholders in form of discussion on the supervisory board. So obviously, as a result of this assessment, we have built a roadmap for closing the gaps, and the major gaps have been already closed, and we are in the process of finalizing some others that include also changes to the legislation and aspects of the corporate governance in our organization.
Thank you. And Haitam, who's on the same question?
Yes, as my friend Mr. Mindaugas mentioned, actually this exercise came in a very critical time for us, and where the Capital Market Authority was on the way to issue a new law, which is the securities law. So there are a lot of issues which need to be tackled in the regulations, and when this exercise was over, through the use of Thomas Murray, we presented the whole results to the regulators, and that helped us to set the new regulations and to make sure that those regulations cover whatever gaps we have. There are some principles which is not applicable to us, and that also opens a way forward with what will be the next move to the exchange and whether new products will be introduced. Or if those introduction of the new securities, new products, then those principles will be applicable to us. So the timing of the gap analysis was on the best match for us and Oman, and it opened a full dialogue with the regulators on what they need to put in, even our in-laws or bylaws as well. Whatever gaps has been analyzed, give us a way where we need to insist of having our own bylaws, and whether those bylaws will be enforced on the participant. So the regulation came on a time where this assessment showed that those points has to be closed.
Oh, well, thank you very much for those views. Well, I think this has been really useful information for us and for our clients, and we're really happy of participating with you in the performance of the PFMIs in the past. We want to thank you for your time and your views on this topic, and hopefully we'll have another time to join again and discuss on further topics for the industry. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate for your time. Thank you.